I'm gonna do a trick tip. The number one thing I get asked as a fingerboarder is like, how do you do that? Well, today I'm gonna be teaching you not only how to do it, but also how to do it better. The Ollie, I would say, is one of the most fundamental tricks. And the funny thing about it is it's also one of the hardest to learn. Like, there are people who learn kick flips or tray flips before they learn Ollies, which is interesting to me. There's a lot of reasons people struggle with Ollies, but hopefully we'll be going over those today and showing you what you're doing wrong. Tricks you need to learn. I would say just shove it, probably. Like my finger positioning, my fingers are just like right there. When you do a shove it, you just kind of take your front finger off and you just move this back and go, and you catch it right there. But good shove it it's just simple, and you don't put a lot of effort into it. You just kind of just flick it. So with an Ollie, I think the main thing to remember is when you're fingerboarding in general, you don't want to put a crap ton of pressure on your fingers, because then you end up doing Ollies like this. Whereas if you just keep light pressure, you can really get them good. The first step I always tell people to take is you just want to take your middle finger and you just want to set it right there on the board. And then basically you're just going to take it, it's going to be like hanging off the edge just ever so slightly. And then you're just going to pop. This is the hardest part, essentially, is just getting it up into the air. Really, it's more with the wrist. A lot of fingerboarding is the wrist. It's not just finger. You really have to just pop, and when you're popping, you just bring your wrist, you rotate it. And then once you kind of have that, the second step I feel would be to do that with two fingers. So you just really let it flick. You just kind of flick it out of the way. A really good tip for learning these is you always want to do them fakie. I don't know why, but the physics of it just makes it easier. Like when you're just starting off, do them fakie and then go to reg. Once you have that down, then have the flicking and just getting it to flick. This part is a little bit more difficult, but basically this helps you teach how to get it up on your fingers. And then you bring this up and you make it go upside down and then bring it back down. And then that's essentially an Ollie, and you just do that motion less and less, and then you have an Ollie. As far as finger positioning goes, I can really put my fingers anywhere and do them. Starting out, the position that's gonna be easiest is you're gonna wanna have your fingers like that, and then your front finger to the edge, and your back finger is just ever so slightly off the board. If you wanna tweak them, you're basically gonna come up, you're gonna go up, and you're gonna bring them down, and then you're gonna level them out right as they get to the bottom. Kick flips are not that far away once you can Ollie. And there's also switch Ollies, nollies. Number one biggest thing is just be light on your fingers. If you're pressing into a nose grind or something, then of course you're gonna have to press harder on the nose to get it to balance. But if you're just doing just an Ollie, then you don't really have to press that hard. If you get a trick and you successfully do it, then always take notes of okay, where were my fingers during that? What did I do differently? It's also a good thing to slow-mo them. If I'm ever struggling with the trick, then I'll film just on my iPhone in slow-mo, and then I'll be able to see what I'm doing wrong. That always helps me figure out what I did that wasn't ideal and how I can fix that. Once you can ollie, you can do just about any grind, like crookeds, board slides, lip slides, smiths, front slides and tail slides. Learning how to ollie consistently opens up what you can do by a lot. Each time you learn a new trick, the possibilities become bigger. Then there's more like opportunities to have like fun. Hit me up if you don't think you're doing it right or if you need tips or anything. But yeah, that is it.